went from a one-man videographer working throughout the night to get stuff done, and now I've transitioned into owning a 7-figure multimedia business. My videos overall have gained over 1 billion views online.
How much money do you make per month?
Personally, I take £12,000, which is $16,000 from the business every month. The business overall makes over $1 million a year.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the Like Father, Like Son podcast. Today, we're joined with videographer turned 7-figure business owner, Mark Tilbury. Welcome to the show, man.
It's great to be here. I'm really excited to talk some business, but the one question I've got is, why is he sitting in my chair?
And who is he?
Yeah.
Who are you?
My name's Kai. You guys might remember me from an episode I did about 8 months ago if you're a long-term viewer. I work behind the scenes with Mark and Curtis helping create content. But today, we've switched the roles and I'm the host, and I'm excited to put him in the hot seat and put him on the spot like he usually does. So give us an elevator pitch and tell us what you're all about.
I really enjoy making videos. That's my passion. So I started off as a videographer, and now I've transitioned into owning a 7-figure multimedia business where I work with different creators, a lot with my dad, Mark Tilbury, the Mark Tilbury.
Very, very much.
Creating viral pieces of content, and my videos overall have gained over 1 billion views online. So I'm really excited about talking about it.
1 billion views. That is a huge number. How do you...
1 billion.
1 billion views.
Yeah.
How do you even comprehend that? That's an awesome amount of views, isn't it, for videos?
Yeah, it's hard to even think about 1 million people, isn't it? And we used to think about it in stadiums when we were growing your TikTok.
Yeah, like Wembley Stadium's 100,000 people. 10 times that is 1 million. 1 billion. That's amazing.
So I think a good way to kick this off is, obviously, Mark Tilbury's your dad. So from the outside looking in, some would say that you were born into a position of privilege. But I do know that not everything is as it seems sometimes. So was it all 5-star hotels and luxury restaurants growing up, or...?
No, I think because Dad came from nothing, and if people follow the channel, they know that you're not born into wealth. You had to work very hard, and you wanted to pass that on to me. So no, I didn't get... I was going to say 5-star restaurants, but there's no such thing.
No.
3-star restaurants and luxury hotels. We very much did lots of budget stuff, didn't we?
Yeah, we did some very good holidays, didn't we? I mean,
Yeah.
we used to, a bit of a shout out now for Nielsen holidays. We used to go on a lot of those, didn't we? Which were great because the time we had together was very special and obviously limited as well. So, no, I didn't give you a lot as you grew up.
You were trying to teach me the value of money, weren't you?
Yeah.
One of the stories that I tell quite a lot, but it shows the way that you react to being asked for money. I was doing a job for one of my clients, and I needed a laptop to edit for that job. And if I didn't have a laptop, because it was a remote job, I wouldn't have been able to do it, and I would have lost it. I wouldn't have gained that client. And so I asked Dad, could I have some money a loan, not to ask you for some money, but can I have a loan for a laptop? And he said, no, you're going to have to find the money. You're going to have to get a loan from the bank.
Or sort out the finance however you can to move your business forward.
I was going to say, luckily I sorted out the loan with my nan. So thank you, Nan. I wouldn't be here
without her. We wouldn't be here. None of us would be probably
exactly.
in this room. So
yeah, no, I found a creative solution and I got a loan and I paid that money back. So it did teach me a lot, and I understand why you did it now. But in the moment, I wasn't very happy.
Yeah, well, it's all about learning these lessons as you go along, and if you're given everything at every stage, and that's what happens, unfortunately, you don't get the value of money, and you don't get the value of actually achieving something. And when you paid your nan back, that was a huge achievement, wasn't it? So, I mean, I think that's the way to go, and I'm pleased I went that route.
Yeah, and that brings me on to my next question, because I was going to say him not giving you the money forces you to be creative, and now you're very much a creator. So where does that creativity come from besides the laptop story?
Yeah, no,
that we've all heard 1 million times.
Yeah, telling me I'm like a broken record now. That is a hard one. Where did the creativity come from? I know the first time I saw my creativity come into action was when I was making a video. So I made this short film with my best friend at the time, and yeah, it was the first time I'd visualized something in my mind, and then it became a video. And that's why I fell in love with videography, because I could take what was in my mind and make something great. And I couldn't do that with artwork. I'm not a great drawer, I'm not a great painter, but I could do that with videography. So that's why I fell in love with that and storytelling and getting my stories out there.
So did you just make that video for fun, or was that some sort of project?
Yeah, no, we were on my way, because I used to swim. I had sports massages. Yeah, no, it was painful.
Did you like them?
No, it was horrible. The massages are horrible, but it made me that little bit faster, and I needed that for swimming to get PBs and beat my competitors. But on the way there, I was just chatting with my mate in the car, and we came up with this concept because we both like superheroes, and it was along the lines of two superheroes going against. Well, what was it like? It was an investigator, someone tracking down another guy, and they could teleport, and they had superhero powers. And then we did all the After Effects, and I learned how to use After Effects through that project. So yeah, I was really pleased with how it turned out in the end. Obviously, now looking back, it's not great. But
no, I've watched it. I was pretty impressed with it. Of course, there are bits that could be polished up when you look back at it, but it's very good.
Being very kind,
especially for the time.
I don't think you quite liked it.
Yeah, maybe this isn't quite me.
I think your creativity started way before that. If I'm honest,
yeah, you would know,
from my side in, and I think the fact that your mum always read to you, that gave you a bit of an art of a storyteller because you enjoyed the stories, and also that fantasy world of stories. I think that sparks creativity. So I think the creativity was probably before that, and also some of the videos you were doing for YouTube before that, they were very creative as well in their own ways. Like the buttery biscuit base and all those sort of things that you did. They were great videos for their time.
Yeah, just to give
they're
a
all
bit of
privated
context
now, unfortunately, but maybe they'll come up from time to time.
To give a bit of context of that, though, the buttery biscuit base video was that was a really popular video on YouTube, and then I mouthed along to it like people do on TikTok, and that's why that one was quite funny. But what you were saying about mum is very interesting because she used to read to me every night, and actually I used to pick her up when she made a mistake in the book. I knew I was following the story so closely that I knew when she'd made a mistake. I was like, no, but that character wouldn't do that. She said, oh yeah, I made a mistake. So I was really deeply listening, and that's when I fell in love with stories.
And that's not because you pre-read the book, it's purely because you knew what the characters were about. So that's very
you could tell when a character was going to do something or wasn't meant to do something, and it wouldn't be written that way. And that made me fall in love with writing as well.
So I've actually got a question for both of you here.
Oh dear.
Obviously Curtis went to a private school. So question one is, what made you make that decision to send him to a private school? And question two is, how did that impact you, and how do you think your life would have turned out if you went to a normal school?
Well, my decision was made purely on the basis that I feel that you can give your kids one main thing that will last them forever, and that's a good education. Now, whether or not that's helping them through a normal school and helping them with their homework, which I didn't have time for, or getting tutors in and helping, or going the private route, I think the best thing you can give them is a good education, and that's what I wanted to do, and I wanted to do that from the moment I even thought about having kids, was that they would have the best I could afford. So it's not that I'm super frugal in that sense, because I feel that it's a lifetime's thing that you're giving to your youngsters.
And it was a good investment though, wasn't it, over the long term, because now we're working together.
It's all about the investment.
Yeah, it's probably his best investment. Well, maybe.
That's a pretty good ROI, I should say.
Yeah, but no, what was your second question?
So how do you think that impacted your life, and how did you think it would have went if you didn't go to that school?
Yeah,
because I know they were quite supportive over your hobbies like swimming and stuff like that.
Yeah, very supportive. That was what I was going to say. The main thing about private school is that they support and nurture your passions. And I'm very grateful that I was sent to the school I was sent to. So thank you very much. I feel like it wasn't all about exam results. Yeah, I feel like the private school was more interested in rounding you as a human versus what exam results you can get at the end of the day. I did enjoy it. And now looking back, I have so many interests other than exams. Especially some of my teachers just went off book. They didn't teach us exactly what you need to know in the exam. They covered it quite quickly because of the small class sizes. But they taught things other than that we were like, sir, but what about this? What about that? And I imagine in a state school, they would say, no, it's not in the exam. You don't need to know it. But they were really nurturing of that curiosity. And
obviously there was a point at which you left the school we originally sent you to because you gained a scholarship to a school that specialised, well, certainly had a specialist side in swimming. So how was that transition?
Yeah, so I used to swim a lot, as you know. Not that you took me. Mum took me mostly to the swimming stuff, which is I was really grateful for. She really nurtured my passions. I used to do all these different things when I was younger. Play judo. I did a bit of ballet, which you're probably giving me some strange looks for. But no, lots of footballers do ballet. To be fair,
most of them do it in the Premiership, don't they?
Why
On the
is he trying to
pitch.
justify it? It's okay if you want to do ballet. You don't need to justify it.
No, it's good for your flexibility for sure. But no, ballet. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed judo. I enjoyed gymnastics and swimming. But then I eventually had to pick what I wanted to niche down to, because I couldn't be the best at all of those things.
So tell the guys how that happened, because you were at this school for a scholarship for swimming, and one day you woke up and thought, don't really want to do this swimming anymore.
You're fast forwarding quite a lot there, because
I'm going to say, come into that for me.
Yeah, because I was swimming. Let's give them an example. Like, I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning, got down to the pool at 4:30, in the pool by 5, then swimming until like 7:30.
Sounds like some army training.
Then I had school, and then after school, back to the pool about 7 o'clock, swimming till 9:30, and then back home at 10, sleep, and then do it all again. So it's very intense. So I needed a solution to be able to improve at my swimming and also stay getting good exam results, because obviously that's important, as well as all the other interests. So then I decided to write an email to someone that was the head of the swimming at this other private school that I got a scholarship to, and they liked my email so much that they gave me the scholarship.
We interrupt this podcast to bring you a special message from Public.com.
Public are a low-cost brokerage that doesn't route your order flow, which means you're always getting the best price possible. They always put the customer first, and the app is super easy for buying and selling stocks.
And they're also giving you a free stock slice worth between $3,000 and $1,000 when you use the link in the description. Yeah, but at the point where you got the scholarship, I think it was a year on or something like that, you decided that swimming wasn't for you. So that's the thing I'm really interested in.
Yeah,
how did that go down?
How did that feel as well? Because, of course, your whole childhood, you thought that you could potentially be an Olympic swimmer. Of course, you were swimming at a very, very high level. So how did that feel?
Not only that, Dad thought you were going to be an Olympic swimmer. So
you let him down, man. You let him down.
Yeah.
No, honestly, it was quite heartbreaking, to be honest. I had been injured before I actually went to that school. So I got the scholarship, and I knew I was going to the boarding school for about a year. And in that time, I got injured. I got tendonitis in my knees, and I could hardly train. I could only do pull. So I got very good at training without my legs, but your legs are 30% of the propulsion. So when I went back to swimming properly with the scholarship, I just couldn't keep up. Obviously I was keeping up with the training, but in the actual competitions, I wasn't where I wanted to be. I wasn't at the absolute top of my game, and it was very hard to catch up when they're all doing the same training, and you're trying to find time. You're trying to find ways you can improve your times any way you can, but everyone's doing everything, so it's very hard to find that. And I realized that I had an interest in videography and obviously making videos, and I realized I had to go back to when I was younger, and I niched down with the judo, with the gymnastics, with the ballet, and I did swimming. So then I had to niche down again. I was like, right, what route do I want to go down? The sport route or the media route? And I picked the media one. So I went into the headmaster's office and I said, please, can I change my scholarship? I was trying to be a bit like a businessman. Can I change my scholarship from swimming to media, and I can help out the school with some media work and do some videos for their YouTube channel? And luckily they said yes, and that's what I did for the next year.
I think there's a real lesson in that as well about providing value in business. You've gone to the school and tried to source ways that you can provide them more value to keep that scholarship. So I think there's a real lesson in there. Even from a young age, you were doing it and not even knowing that you were doing it.
Yeah, no, I think it's important to add that alternative value. Otherwise, what are you offering them? Can I just not do what I'm meant to do, and you're paying most of my school fees? I don't think that's on, is it? So it's thinking, it's also putting yourself in their position and thinking, what can I offer them? And that's with business, isn't it? Yeah, you have to give more than you get.
So 100%. What was it like moving on, doing the YouTube at school? How did you find that? And who did you watch as well? Because it's not just about what you did, it's who you watched on YouTube.
And I will chime in there that when I was at school, I used to make gaming videos, and I used to hide it. Doing YouTube back then definitely wasn't what it is now, and I definitely used to hide it. So how did that impact you?
Yeah, I remember when I was at school, the first school I went to, St Edmunds in Canterbury, everyone... there was a real shift in how people reacted to YouTube. YouTube wasn't this cool thing. They're like, why are you talking to the camera? They didn't understand. There wasn't much money in it back in the day. But when they brought in monetization and these people became millionaires, then people got interested. And then the attitudes really changed. So I noticed that whole shift, and I was making videos throughout that. And when I was at boarding school, the Owlsmere one for sixth form, I had quite a lot of people that liked the videos. They used to come up to me in the corridor and be like, can I be on the next vlog? Can I do this? Can I do that?
Quite a fan club you had up there,
Yeah, exactly. And one of the most popular YouTubers, to answer your question, that I watched all the time was Casey Neistat. And he really changed the game for vlogging and made it cool. Yeah.
Do you think people supporting you at school pushed you to go on? Do you think that you would be here today doing what you're doing if people at school were negative about what you were doing?
That is a very hard question. I don't really know. I suppose I did work through it when I was at my first school and people were negative about it. But it certainly helped, I suppose, getting that admiration that I wasn't getting from the swimming. Obviously, it's nice to be admired for something or to be good at something. And I was top of the class in my media at school. So yeah, obviously, yeah. Maybe it stroked my ego a little bit.
You were pretty much running the classes from what your teachers were saying in the media classes, so you're doing really, really well.
Yeah,
but
I remember teaching some of the Photoshop.
And for school, what about the qualifications? Were they important to you, or?
Yeah, of course they're important. I know you're trying to lead me down a route to say that they're not.
Well, we want to go down the route of obviously, university and various other things. So I don't know if you want to tell the story of that.
Yeah, so when I was at school, almost everyone in my class went to university, and it was kind of the route that we were expected to go down. I remember one day they said, you can have a day off school and you can go to this university fair and you can experience what it's like to go to uni. You can go to all the different stalls and there's representatives at those stalls trying to sell you the universities. And there were so many benefits to go to this place, a day off school. Who wouldn't want that? So I said, no, I don't want that. Because I knew that I'd probably get influenced. I knew I didn't want to go to university. So why would I then put myself in a position where I was sold into a university position? I knew I wanted to start a business because I'd always been surrounded by business with dad and also my granddad that runs his own successful business.
So you're obviously now running a very successful 7-figure business, but of course, as we've learned from this podcast so far, that wasn't always the case. So how does one stack all the skills needed to run a business like this?
Yeah, I suppose the skill stack started with swimming. I knew the dedication. I knew if I put the work in, then I got the result I wanted. So I started making vlogs every day when I left school. A bit Casey Neistat style. You have to start off copying someone, I reckon, to find your own style. And I made so many videos. Dad was in a lot of them, weren't you?
I was, yeah. A lot of eating challenges, which I remember I did pretty well in because I like a bit of food. So, but the best one, I think, was the hoverboard one.
Yeah, so we went round with...
Let's flash a little clip of it up, just a tiny clip.
Yeah, there we go. Then they can see what it's about. But for the people listening, there was these hoverboard segways that were really popular back in the day. And we attached some go-kart attachments to them and went round in suits. And we went round Tesco's, didn't we? Yeah.
We went round Whitstable Harbour as well. We went all over the place in them. And the looks we got were... pure genius comedy, weren't they?
It was good fun.
Really fun, yeah.
But yeah, the point was, making all these videos made me better at my craft. I found my own style. And then, after working for Dad for a little bit and then getting fired, almost fired.
I can't believe you fired your son.
You never got fired.
No.
You just weren't good enough to come back.
I got encouraged to leave because you knew I was destined for more, I suppose.
Yeah, the sort of work we had for you at the time wasn't really good enough for what you needed to do.
Yeah.
And the last thing you wanted to do was find a job you did like there and get comfortable and stay there for the rest of your life when it wasn't what you wanted to do. So I think the outcome is definitely the best one.
Yeah, then I decided to start my own media business. And lots of people would think that I have a lot of advantages because of Dad's position, obviously, in business. But you had nothing to do with the media industry, did you?
Nothing at all. No, absolutely.
Model
nothing.
Industry, media industry, totally different.
Yeah, chalk and cheese. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to then forge my own path, find connections, and then work my way up. And it was hard originally. I didn't have many clients at all. I think, I had one. My first client was a caravan park. And then on the side, I was actually working in films as an extra. One of those people in the background.
Let's put a picture of that up as well.
I was everything. I'd been in Fantastic Beasts. I was a dark wizard in that.
Dumbo.
Yeah, I was in Dumbo.
Out of curiosity, what does someone get paid for something like that?
I thought it was pretty decent at the time. It all depends on your overtime as well. So the standard rate is £100 a day. However, if you manage to get overtime, it starts really stacking up.
Or have your hair cut. You get extra for having your hair cut, didn't you?
I used to always get my hair cut on set. I used to make it as messy as possible, so I got a haircut.
Save you a bit of money, and you got a haircut.
Exactly. It was all about pinching the pounds where you can.
Yeah.
Pinching the cents if we're going to be American. But it was about £200 a day usually because of all the overtime. But it was long hours. I remember one time I was standing in this courtyard for ages because they wouldn't let us sit down, like 10 hours. And the costume department said we couldn't sit down because we'd crease the costumes we were wearing. You know, they just treat you like animatronics. And you're not people.
You're not allowed your phones either, were you? So I think you had an alternative to that.
Yeah, I used to read lots of books, and that really, really helped me. And I also brought a pad and pen just to jot down notes and think about how I'm going to push the business forward. And it wasn't like regular work. It just came here and there. So I couldn't get comfortable in it, but it did give me that bit of income to support myself while I was finding clients. So maybe a part-time job's quite important.
So what sort of work were you doing at the time of doing the extra work? Was it the Mark Tilbury brand, or was it the...
Oh, no. Mark Tilbury was no one on social media anyway.
No, not on social media.
No. Yeah, well, you were someone, obviously, but not on social media. So I was doing lots of different videos, like club videos, like nightclubs, I mean. Caravan parks, wedding videos. Oh, you had a good cameraman for those, so didn't you? Dad helped me a few times when I needed someone extra, but that's how tight budgets were. I was charging just enough that I could get the job, and I didn't even charge for the first wedding I did. Like, it was only a few weddings afterwards, but the amount of stress that goes into weddings. But I think the main point there is I did a lot of free jobs, and I used the strategy of free to fee. I wanted to build up a portfolio, see what I liked doing, and supported myself with the part-time income from the extra work. And then after that, I could niche down into the exact industry that I knew paid the best and I enjoyed the most.
And what was the point that you thought the Mark Tilbury brand was going to be successful and actually physically take off?
Well, to be fair, like when COVID hit, I couldn't. You were very busy still, but I didn't have any clients because I couldn't go to their houses and film because I niched down into the personal brand space where we were filming stuff for coaches, business coaches, and entrepreneurs, and online course sellers, stuff like that. So yeah, I couldn't go and film for them, so I had to think of a new way to pivot the business. So I decided to start something with you. And then we started YouTube first, and then you had the idea to start TikTok because you saw everyone using it in China, didn't you? Yeah,
it was absolutely huge out there. Everyone was literally living in their phones. It was so big, and it hadn't yet quite rolled out into Europe or America, that's for sure. And I think we got on it, second wave, I think they call it. And
second mover advantage, I would say. There were certainly some people on it doing entrepreneur type content, but we took it to a new level. I created the 2-person skit that everyone knows now.
I think the thing is we kept it very real as well. So all the information was good information for free, and it wasn't on there to sell anything. So I think it made quite a niche sort of market.
Do you remember the first video that blew up?
I do. I think it was my story. Dropping the cards like in Love Actually. It was quite an emotional video. We had lots of responses to that. People making videos and crying, and it was quite amazing. Really, we hit a lot of people with that.
So that was, to answer your question, a long way to answer your question. That was the moment I knew the Mark Tilbury brand would actually take off because people connected with your story. You've got the wisdom and you've got the years of knowledge to back up the videos, which is very important because it's coming from a place of truth. When everyone on TikTok was quite young and they hadn't lived through they haven't lived through the lessons, made the mistakes that you had, and if you can make people cry for your story, there's got to be something in that brand, and it's all about emotion. Sure. You've got to make people feel something.
And it's like what you said, the unfair advantage with being your age. People would scroll through and it's young kid. Oh, hello, who's this guy?
Who's this old kid? What's he doing?
It is very true though.
Yeah.
How important do you think that timing was? With the pandemic, everybody being stuck at home wanting to make money, your skills, his knowledge.
Yeah, it was kind of fate, wasn't it? All the timing lined up. So it's when preparation meets opportunity. There was luck involved, timing, and I guess we wouldn't be here today filming this podcast episode if everything hadn't lined up the way it did. So yeah, you got to hit the timing right, but that doesn't mean that it's an overnight success, even though that video was literally overnight.
Well, even
10 million views or so.
Even the holiday prior to that, when you realised there was loads of information stored up in here, it was all down to you then to pull that information out and for us to put it in front of the camera. I mean, that was quite a pivotal moment, I think, as well.
Yeah, I really enjoy working with Dad, and obviously you as well. It's like you've got this wealth of knowledge and experiences locked up there, like you said. And it's our job then to sit down with you when we're writing a video and think, right, how are we going to organize this into a viral piece of content? Which is what I love. It's the challenge that I thrive on.
And what I find quite entertaining as well is when I'm chatting with mates or you guys or whatever it is, and I come out with a story, it's like, oh, we haven't heard that one. Tell us more about that.
Let's note that one down.
That is definitely a video, that one.
Yeah, I'm thinking, when have we got to the bottom of all your stories? But I don't think we will. You've lived such a life. And that's that people say, oh, you're so frugal, you must have not lived the life and you've saved, you pinch pennies everywhere. But actually, you've done a lot of stuff.
Well, I always say I am frugal, but I like to get value from my money, which means that I will still do the experiences, because experience lasts you forever. If you go motor racing, for example, that lasts forever. You go traveling, that lasts forever. I said to my dad, because he always wanted to go and fly in a Spitfire, and he said, it's £3,000 to fly in a Spitfire. I said, yeah, but that is an experience that you'll have for the rest of your days, not for just that half hour or whatever it is. So sometimes these things, the value is immense. And I certainly, I like to say yes when there's an experience to go and to have, as it were.
Yeah, I think I've learned that from you as well.
So we've discussed the first viral TikTok video, but what was the first viral piece of content on YouTube?
Well, I suppose we realised at the time that everyone was interested in investing, but they just didn't know what to invest in. So we thought, why don't we make a video putting together the best investments for a bit of money that most people would have, $100. So we took $100 and we actually did that, and we invested in lots of different things. We started off with the least risky ones, like
savings account,
gold, index funds. And then we slowly got more risky.
Then we used a dartboard with 20 different stocks, wherever the dart went. And I was genuinely blindfolded for that. Genuinely.
Everyone was impressed, weren't they?
I didn't know where the board was. Curtis had turned me around. She said, throw the dart. And I was amazed it hit the board, let alone land.
Was it first try?
I thought, first go. Yeah.
I can testify to that.
It was Samsung, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it did well.
It did do well, yeah.
It did really well. So then we got more risky, and we ended on scratch cards, obviously gambling, which is not an investment, but it does make for a good YouTube video. So,
and it's where a lot of people spend their money.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was a good example to use, I think.
And we lost 50% of our investment. So it demonstrated that point. I always think it would have been counterintuitive if we actually did win big.
Yeah, we did. We did discuss that, didn't we? Could you imagine? We go, 3 million.
What would you have done?
Yeah, but guys, you should invest in index funds. But we won 3 million.
It might have lost something in the story, mightn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But no, I think the video was perfectly structured for a viral piece of content. We had the hook. How would you invest $100? We had the building action, riskier investments as we go through, and we got the payoff at the end where I jumped in and we scratched off the scratch cards together, which we then we seeded in the beginning. They knew that we were going to do something crazy at the end. So it's all about the way we structured it and also addressing what people wanted to watch at the time.
It was like a perfect storm, wasn't it?
So how much money does a video like that make?
At the moment, it's got 4 million views and we've made £80,000 just off the ad revenue.
Wow.
It's crazy.
But yeah, it is an amazing.
Is that the moment that you realised it was getting real?
No, I think it was all getting real very much before that. And for me, the moment I felt it was getting real was when we were reading the comments that were coming back from people that are saying, school's not teaching us this stuff. We should be aware of this. We're going out into the world and we're like cannon fodder to anyone that wants to rip us off, anyone wants to sell us a dodgy loan, anyone that wants to sell me a car, whatever the case may be. We're not armed with any knowledge.
Yeah, and the thing is, there shouldn't be a need for our videos. But there is, because school hasn't taught people what to look out for, and it hasn't prepared them for life. So that actually shows a problem with society.
Well, society has let them down because the parents went to the same schooling system. The parents before them went to the same schooling system. Where
and the teachers went to the same schooling system too. It's not their fault.
Where are these kids going to find this knowledge? And we've put it out there. We've put everything out there. It's all for free. and just as my mentor did for me, he helped me, so, and I've helped you, and now hopefully we're helping lots of others.
Now I'm amplifying your voice and packaging your stories in that viral way that we can reach so many people. Should we tell this story about the chalet, ski chalet? Quickly?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, so we first started off this journey because I realised Dad had so much to share when he was telling all the guys at the ski chalet things about business, and they were lapping it up. They were really interested about investing. And then
we were shocked, weren't we?
Yeah,
actually?
we were shocked that they actually found this stuff interesting because money's so taboo to talk about. But that's another story completely.
Yeah.
But fast forward it 2 years, we went to the same kind of place, the Three Valleys,
Courchevel.
Courchevel, to go skiing. And there was 2 lads in the chalet because we like to go on a holiday with lots of different people in the chalet and meet them and chat in the evenings. And they'd already seen Dad's videos, so we'd reached those 2 people within that time frame, and we wouldn't have reached them for another 2 years otherwise. So that's the power of social media and really having a personal brand that can have so much reach.
Yeah, it's absolutely awesome, and it blew us away, didn't it? They wanted selfies and all the different things. It was quite humbling, really.
Yeah, and I've never thought they want selfies with my dad, but it's so great.
And it is getting to the point now where we can't take you anywhere. I mean, we can't even go for a Nando's anymore.
You can take me to lots of places, but people want to say, don't they?
Yes,
but it's
surreal.
good. It's nice. It's nice that it's made a difference to people, and that's what the start of it was all about.
So speaking of people recognising him, of course, 1 million subscribers on YouTube and 7 million on TikTok. And I think it's considerably less than 1% of YouTube channels hit 1 million subscribers. So when you started this after the ski trip, did you always know it would be big, or was it sort of after the first viral video that you thought it would go big, or where was your sort of thought process there?
I knew it would be big.
I think you did.
To be fair, you
did.
wanted to get to 100,000, didn't you?
I knew that it would get to 1 million. I did know that.
Well, how long had you wanted the 100,000 one?
Oh, yeah.
For years, hadn't you?
Yeah,
and
but
that was a major achievement to get that.
100%, and we're grateful for everything.
Yeah.
But I knew with the emotional connection people had with your first TikTok video that your brand had the ability to get to 1 million subscribers if we did the right content and we addressed the right needs in the marketplace and served the right information. Then there's no way you weren't going to get there, because I had confidence in your stories and also my ability to package those stories into videos that would perform. So yeah, I did know that we were going to be successful, and I had to convince you as well.
You did, but the great thing now is with the skill stack that you have, you're able to pass that information on to other people trying to build their channels up as well, which I think is amazing. Maybe you want to say a bit more about that.
Oh, thanks for leading me on to that. Yeah. No, me and Kai actually do a YouTube consultation service where we take channels that are doing well and maybe are on TikTok and want to transition to longer form content on YouTube, or just want to make their YouTube channel more successful by having more viral content. And we chat with them, don't we? And we share our insights, and people find it really useful. I know one of our clients recently said it completely changed his channel. He went from getting like a couple of thousand views to some videos over 100,000 views.
I think his second video after sitting down with us hit 100k.
Yeah, and also he paid back for his mentoring with one video, 3 times. So that really showed the value. That shows the value in what we're offering.
And the thing with mentoring as well is, I think in the US it's a different thing. People expect to pay to learn, and I think you offer very, very good value. But in the UK it seems a little bit, again, taboo that you have to pay someone to learn, and obviously there are a lot of scams out there which you've got to avoid. So
yeah, I think if it's an actual skill you're going to walk away with and be able to implement and make real money, then it's worth the investment. There's an ROI there. So it can't be just a wishy-washy maybe mindset course. Dare I say it, like they don't have an end goal. So you're always going to be looking for the next thing, the next upsell. You're never going to get the answer you're looking for. So an actual skill, it's a yes from me. And I actually bought a course all about filmmaking. That was one of the best things I did. It fast-tracked my learning. I didn't have to look all over YouTube for all the answers because it was there in one place, and it saved me so much time.
Yeah, I think what's different about us as well is that we do get people in and we sit down with them in person for a few hours. And I think that with sort of downloadable courses where you're not there to actually provide your insights and talk them through it, it's a little bit more iffy.
You can really tailor it to the individual person.
And that's what we do.
Yeah.
So if it's not rude then, son, how much money are you making?
Yeah.
Well, that's the hard one, isn't it? Because
you always ask people that.
Yeah, no, but what do you want to know? Because there's the business.
How much money do you make per month? That's what I want to know.
Per month, personally, or via the business?
No, personally.
From my multimedia business, I make $16,000 per month, despite any bonuses I want to take if we've had a really good month. And then the business overall makes over $1 million a year.
Well, that's a really good example of not taking too much out of the business. So you're not strangling the business, because a lot of people do that. So a bit of restraint there, which is very good.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense with tax either. So it's much better to use that money to effectively grow the business, invest in equipment and people. People is a really important thing, because people think they can do it alone, but you can't. You have to have a really good team behind you. So I love investing in great people, such as Exhibit A over here.
And exhibit B that you can't see
behind
right
the camera,
and Sam behind the camera.
I think it's important to note as well that, of course, $16,000 a month is one hell of an income, and of course, to some people watching it will sound like a lot, but a lot goes on behind the scenes that people don't see. You know, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of early mornings, and you know, creating this content, it's a lot harder than what people think. Even me coming into the business, I just thought, you know, how hard can it really be? You just sort of get the stories, write it up, bish bash bosh, but it's really not like that, is it?
No, it takes a lot of time, and we try and structure our stories, our videos, in a story type manner, which isn't easy.
In a three-act
narrative, isn't it? And that's the way to go. And we're also slipping into a different mode at the moment, which is a more documentary style format, and that seems to be going down really well. And in actual fact, it's nicer to film it as well, because we're going on location a little bit more, and it all adds to the cost of producing a video. But we've always said from day one that we're going to make the videos better and better and better and better. We're not going to tail off. We're just going to keep improving the product, really.
Well, that's the thing, though. If you keep doing the same thing, it can be just the same quality, but because you're beating a dead horse, you're doing the same thing again and again. You need to switch it up. A great example of that is Shane Dawson, who started doing videos dressing up as women, and then he did documentary videos like 30-40 minute long, and they just got really, they reached new all-time highs. The amount of views he was getting on those videos, I know he hasn't posted in a while, but he's a perfect example.
KSI is probably another prime
example.
Yeah,
exactly. A prime example, yeah.
Pardon the pun.
Yeah, and Logan Paul. They completely switched their content.
Logan Paul's a prime example.
Yeah, exactly. We're getting all of this in. But yeah, no, Logan Paul started off with his vlogs, hit a bit of a roadblock with, you know, what happened, to now having a podcast like this where he can actually show his true personality, which is a massive shift in his content. So that's what we're doing at the moment.
Yeah, 100%.
So with all the money you're taking out of the business, where are you investing it? Have you learned anything along the way that's helped you on the investment path?
Yeah, I'm just very frugal, to be fair.
Where'd you get that from?
Yeah. No, I don't like spending things. So Kai, it probably is a little bit different to me. You would spend a bit more of it, but I like to save. And
I think you're okay. I think sometimes you're painfully frugal, but then other times not so much.
How am I painfully frugal then?
The other day, you wouldn't let me put a Mackey's on the business.
No, hang on. Well, it wasn't you actually. It was Sam. Decided to order.
This guy's McDonald's order is just nuts.
It's the most irregular order ever, and he doesn't take any notice of meals. It doesn't matter to him. He doesn't matter about the deals. You know, he wants
this, and this.
He wants like 3 burgers and some chicken selects, and then maybe throw in 2 drinks there, not in a meal or a deal or anything. I was just thinking, oh my life! All right, well, this guy's nuts.
I'll let this one slide then, because you have done me here, but you are painfully frugal sometimes. I just can't think off the top of my head, so we'll leave it.
Maybe I am quite frugal, but I like to invest the majority of my money, because my main aim of this isn't to have a Ferrari, it isn't to have a mansion,
or a Lamborghini,
or any other material thing. What I love is freedom, and the freedom to do whatever I want and make whatever I want. So that's what I'm focused on, and that's why I invest so much, and I don't spend as much as maybe I could.
And I would say the freedom for you is creating content. You know, you're already living that freedom.
So what's next for Curtis Tilbury then?
Well, that's a big question, isn't it? I would say I want to build up the mentoring side of what I do, because I really love helping people. Well, we do. Together, we really like helping people boost their channels and see them thrive after hearing some advice. It's so nice, isn't it? After having people come down here and they actually take on board the advice, and you see them using it in their videos.
It's so nice as well when you can hear people really absorbing it and they really take action on the stuff that you say.
Yeah, so there's that aspect, and I also want to start my own channel, because I want to make slightly different videos, not so much finance, maybe loosely linked.
And everyone's asking for it.
Yeah, well, I have.
You've even got a load of subscribers and you haven't put anything out
I
yet.
know, stop making me feel bad. But yeah, I want to do videos like surviving on Bitcoin for a week and stuff like that. More showing the journey of entrepreneurship versus teaching like you do. So I've got that aspect that I can share. It's just finding the time to do everything because I'm trying to work out. I'm trying to help with the Mark Tilbury round. We're doing our mentoring. It's like, when do I find the time?
So that leads us on to the last question.
I've got a last question that I've just thought of on the spot. This question
really?
It's never been asked
Not
on the
copied
podcast
from me
before.
then?
No. So if you could only invest in one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be and why?
Well, I've never heard a question like that before. So
well, not on this pod anyway.
No. Well done for coming up with that one. It's very insightful. I would invest in people because that's the biggest thing. I went from a one-man videographer making content for lots of different clients all on my own. I remember even on holiday spending 2 hours going down to find Wi-Fi and then working throughout the night to get stuff done. If I just realised sooner that people are so important and building up your team, because you can get so much more done and you don't have to be that lone wolf. So people is the best investment I've ever made.
So basically, Sam, we've changed his life.
Completely. Thanks, guys.
So when is enough? And I'm talking financially, and also when is enough of doing this type of work going to be enough as well? So I'm going to ask you this on two different levels, very specific.
Well, usually you give the option for someone to answer in any way they wanted, but you've been stricter with me today.
Yes.
Financially, well, when I've got enough money to have that freedom that I can just do anything, and I reckon that's probably about 10 million now. That's when I think it is enough money. Well, I
think that's when it becomes FU money, doesn't it?
Yeah, I suppose that's the... I feel like at the moment, I need a little bit more to have that freedom, and then I can start maybe enjoying more of my money, maybe spending a bit more. Maybe I won't know because maybe I'll be so used to investing that I just prefer that.
Remember, you got your dad's genes. This is the trouble.
I can't see him ever spending loads.
No, I get a buzz out of investing though, like buying a stock or buying a new crypto. It's far more exciting than buying some trainers or some sneakers, as they say in America. I'm trying to think of the American word then, but it's just not as fun for me. I'd rather invest it because then I can make an ROI, and that's what I've always tried to do. Everything I bought, I've made an ROI on, such as the cameras for videography, and all the other things. Like
right from your first cameras, really, and your first laptop. It's returned you an investment, hasn't it?
I think that's very true. Actually, I can't think of many things, if anything, you've bought that hasn't brought an ROI.
So when is enough within the business niche you're in, do you think?
Within the business niche, I think there's always things changing. So that's what keeps it interesting. Enough is when I'm totally bored of what I'm doing. And I don't
that's a long time away, isn't it?
That's never going to happen because we're always going to adapt and do new things. If we're getting bored, maybe we accept less views and just do something we like. So I enjoy working with you and Sam behind the camera. So I don't think it would ever be enough. I'll just keep going until one of you wants to stop.
So on that note, I think we'll bring the podcast to an end. So it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him.
See ya.
See you later.